In this video, I'll show you September 26, 2016. 79-year-old attorney and state representative John Walker stopped to observe and film a traffic stop in Little Rock, Arkansas that had led to the driver's arrest. Officers from the Little Rock Police Department noticed that Representative Walker was filming them from across the street and approached him. The interaction that followed was captured on various cameras.
Mr. Walker, what is your concern today?
I'm concerned. I'm a state representative. It happens to be in my district.
Okay.
I don't have to state anything else. But I'm
being polite, just engaging in your conversation.
But
there's no need to be rude.
But I'm not. You don't have to be. But I'm here just as an observer. This happened to me, by the way. I observed some policemen in Pine Bluff arresting a few black boys 10 years ago. You can pull up the case, Walker versus Pine Bluff, and they arrested me for just watching.
Oh, I'm not giving. You have total right to do exactly what you're doing. Do you understand the circumstances of our stop?
I don't know. I just want to see it. But 5 cops for 1 man? No.
Well, actually,
5 cops for 1 man.
Well, what's going on is both the young officers that you see over there are in training, and there's only 4 of us if you count us. There's only 4.
Well, there were 5.
No, there's only been 4. Both me and this officer are training.
All right.
They're in training, so we ride double.
That's fine.
Or there'd just be 2 of us.
All right.
Now, in this particular stop, this gentleman was pulled over because he doesn't have tags on his car. Okay? So a quick check to see why he hasn't tagged his car led to a warrant that he has for his arrest. That's why he's in that car. He's been treated with nothing but respect from the get-go.
I'm not questioning that. I see the traffic being stopped or at least impeded in a way. But it's not necessary.
Well, if you read the traffic laws, that's an emergency vehicle. So it's allowed to park like that.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying.
But you're a lawyer, so you probably knew that already.
I understand that, but all I'm saying is, it's not a real big deal.
Well, it appears to be.
It's every time multiple people arrest a black man now, and I'm around, I'm going to take pictures.
Sure.
I am, because there have been too many killings. The killings on 12th Street. The killings on Asher Avenue.
Mr. Walker, have you ever been a police officer?
It doesn't matter about.
No, it does matter.
I've been arrested.
You can answer the question or not. I don't care. But until you walk a mile in the shoes of a police officer, you have no idea what goes on.
No, I know.
You have no idea what goes on.
You don't need.
You're the type of person that goes ahead and tries to exploit this to where it causes chaos and nothing like that. You just try to. You're a race baiter, is what you are. Okay.
You told me whatever you.
I'm just telling you like it is, Mr. Walker.
How can I be a race baiter?
Because you perpetuate the situation.
No.
You try to catch officers up short when they're not having any problems.
Wait a minute, you're not going to provoke me today.
I'm not trying to provoke you. You're the one that's out here trying to provoke police officers, and it's not going to happen either.
Wait a minute. What have I done to try to provoke?
You sit there filming it.
Let me ask you this.
And this is not the first time you've done that. You've done this ever since I've been down here. I started in '94. You've been doing this ever since then.
We passed the law.
Okay.
One law that I passed in the legislature was that we could record everything.
I don't care if you record, but you're doing it to provoke. You're doing it to provoke. Because you're a race baiter, sir.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
I didn't ask you. I didn't invite you over here.
Would you have stopped today and videoed had this been a young white male?
I don't know.
That's right.
Because all I know is that I stopped.
That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. You're only here to cause trouble. So you are welcome to sit here and film all you want to. We're done. We're done. Come on.
But look, I didn't know who was in that car.
We didn't know the race.
It's not necessary. No, you can say that.
We didn't know the race of the person driving the car.
Look.
Okay? And with the darkened window and see who is in the vehicle.
Anytime you arrest people in this area,
it's a 50-50 shot. Boom.
Greater than anything else.
All you do is try to provoke people, okay? That's all you do.
But I tell you what, if you need our assistance, you give us a call. We'll be there for you.
By all means, if you need help, call us. We'll help you.
We'll be there anytime you need our help.
The officers approach Representative Walker as he is filming the traffic stop and question him and his motives, but allow him to continue filming. Although the Eighth Circuit, which has jurisdiction over Arkansas, has not explicitly addressed the First Amendment right to record, the Court of Appeals has favorably cited other circuits that have recognized the right. Additionally, in 2015, Representative Walker co-sponsored Arkansas House Bill 1669, which was signed into law effective July 22, 2015. The act was codified in Section 21-1-106 of the Arkansas Code, which states that, quote, A public officer or employee shall not prohibit a person from using a recording device in a place that is open to and accessible to the general public, unless the act of recording or the location of the recording person presents a risk to the physical safety of anyone present. The statute defines the term prohibit as meaning, quote, to interfere with the physical operation of a recording device by threat, duress, coercion, direct order, arrest, detention, or use of force. Section 21-1-106 also includes other exceptions to when a public officer may prohibit the use of a recording device that are not applicable to this situation, and bars officers from deleting electronic data from recording devices and seizing or confiscating recording devices unless they appear to be involved in the commission of a crime, or the seizure is otherwise justified by an exigent circumstance. Representative Walker was partially motivated in his sponsorship of the bill by his personal experience as he was arrested. In Pine Bluff, AR, in 1998 for observing a traffic stop, Representative Walker successfully sued the city of Pine Bluff. And as part of the litigation process, the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Arkansas, held in the 2005 case of Walker v. City of Pine Bluff that the officers were not entitled to qualified immunity for arresting Representative Walker, determining that the argument that a silent, non-interfering onlooker created a distraction that prevented the officers from safely completing the traffic stop was, quote, preposterous, and that no reasonable police officer could believe that he had probable cause to arrest an onlooker who stood at a considerable distance from police officers, spoke only when spoken to, and complied with a request for identification. Subsequently, in the 2020 case of Chestnut v. Wallace, the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals held that the Walker case clearly establishes that citizens have the right now, quoting, to watch police-citizen interactions at a distance and without interfering. The Eighth Circuit also noted in the Chestnut case that, quote, every circuit court to have considered the question has held that a person has the right to record police activity in public, and that, now quoting again, this robust consensus of cases of persuasive authority suggests that if the Constitution protects one who records police activity, then surely it protects one who merely observes it, a necessary prerequisite to recording. Now, although the Chestnut case had not yet been issued at the time of this interaction, the Walker case had, and it is therefore likely that a court would conclude that the officers could not prohibit Representative Walker from filming the traffic stop as long as he did not interfere.
Back over there. Back over there.
What? You got a right to...
Okay, no you don't. You got a right to go over there.
This is our scene.
You're in the middle of my traffic stop. If you want to impede,
Yeah, my traffic stop right now.
you will go to jail. I'm not playing. Go back over that side, please. One more time and go back on that side. You are obstructing justice. Go back over there where you were at. You can do whatever you want to do. Over there. Turn around back here. Back every time. You want traffic stop.
Oh my gosh.
After the initial encounter with the officers, Representative Walker and attorney Omavi Kushikuru, who goes by Omavi Shakur, cross the street and attempt to film the traffic stop from the sidewalk. And when they refuse to go back to the other side of the street, they are placed under arrest. Now, while it is fairly well established in Arkansas that citizens cannot be arrested for filming a traffic stop from a distance, the law is murkier when it comes to filming a traffic stop at a closer range, as Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur attempted to do here in the 1972 case of Colton v. Kentucky. The Supreme Court stated that a state has a legitimate interest in enforcing its traffic laws and that police officers are entitled to enforce traffic laws without possible interference or interruption from bystanders, even those claiming a third-party interest in the transaction. Similarly, Courts that have recognized the First Amendment right to film a traffic stop have not found it to be unlimited, noting officers may impose reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions on individuals exercising their rights. For instance, in the 2014 case of Guerrica versus Begin, the First Circuit Court of Appeals determined that, quote, reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right to film may be imposed when the circumstances justify them. The circumstances of some traffic stops, particularly when the detained individual is armed, might justify a safety measure, for example, a command that bystanders disperse that would incidentally impact an individual's exercise of the First Amendment right to film. Such an order, even when directed at a person who is filming, may be appropriate for legitimate safety reasons. However, the First Circuit went on to conclude that, quote, a police order that is specifically directed at the First Amendment right to film police performing their duties in public may be constitutionally imposed only if the officer can reasonably conclude that the filming itself is interfering or is about to interfere with his duties. The court also noted that, now quoting again, in our society, police officers are expected to endure significant burdens caused by citizens' exercise of their First Amendment rights, and that this fact, now quoting again, will bear upon the reasonableness of any order directed at the First Amendment right to film. We have made clear that the same restraint demanded of police officers in the face of provocative and challenging speech must be expected when they are merely the subject of videotaping that memorializes without impairing their work in public spaces. Here, it is possible that a court could conclude that the officer's orders for Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur to film from the other side of the street constituted a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction on their right to film. On the other hand, it is also possible that a court would find that the restriction and subsequent arrest violated the First Amendment, Section 21-1-106 of the Arkansas Code, or both, particularly given the facts that there were 4 officers involved in a single traffic stop, which would greatly diminish any potential risk to their physical safety that Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur could pose, and that Representative Walker was standing on the sidewalk a reasonable distance away from the traffic stop when he was arrested.
In the wake of all that's going on, I'm sure, people have their own opinions on what...
Our camera.
Okay.
How do you say your last name?
Oh.
How are you? What's your name, Miss Lawrence?
You just said it.
What's your first name?
Jay.
Jay. Okay. Are you a trainee? Where are the cameras? Where were the cameras before? They weren't always on.
The camera is always on.
Sorry, Mr. Walker. Just step back here to my vehicle.
You don't have to hold me. I'll go myself.
Jason.
Oh.
Jason. You want him back there?
I think he put the other guy back.
You want him back there with him?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Walker.
This man
right
is
there.
Bobby Shakir. He's also a lawyer now.
Walk up, you just lean back against the car right there. You got another unit of transport, you coming here.
You mean lean forward?
I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
You mean lean forward or lean back?
You lean backward.
If I lean backward, I'll be leaning into you.
Sir?
If I lean backward, I'll be leaning into
Turn
you.
around and get the vehicle if you want to.
Stand up. I don't like to.
You know
This
better
is the
than
exact
walk.
situation that happened. This
Walk
is
up
the
in there,
exact situation.
Chaz,
This is the
Chaz.
exact situation that happened.
He's beating the car. Do you not feel him beating the
Beat all
car?
at once. I want that microphone here
Okay.
with Mr. Walker.
No, you don't have to have me say
Oh, yes, sir, I
anything.
do. you know, you've been doing this long enough. You know you don't walk up in an officer's traffic stop.
I was not walking in an officer's traffic stop.
Yes,
I walked across the street, and I was standing on the sidewalk.
Sir,
I was standing on the sidewalk. I am not interfering with governmental operations.
Sir, you are. Well, you're going to get charged.
But I understand you're going to charge me with it.
The officers informs Representative Walker that he will be charged with interfering with government operations. According to Section 5-54-102 of the Arkansas Code, quote, "A person commits the offense of obstructing governmental operations if the person knowingly obstructs, impairs, or hinders the performance of any governmental function," which Section 5-54-101 of the Arkansas Code defines as, quote, "Any activity that a public servant is legally authorized to undertake on behalf of any governmental unit he or she serves." Notably, the statute explicitly states that it does not apply to now quoting obstruction, impairment, or hindrance of what a person reasonably believes is a public servant's unlawful action. Accordingly, while it is possible that a court could find that Representative Walker's refusal to stop filming the traffic stop from the closer vantage point constituted a violation of the state obstruction statute, it is also possible that a court could conclude that the officer's order was unlawful based on the limitations imposed by Section 21-1-1.106 of the Arkansas Code on an officer's authority to prohibit recording, or that Representative Walker reasonably believed that this order was unlawful based on this law.
Are y'all here to do our transport? Okay, never mind. I'll see you back over here. We've got two warrants here. He wants to come over and interfere with our operation, so.
No, that is not true.
Are y'all here to do our stop? Yeah, over here. All right, do our transport. Y'all take him. Make sure your camera and microphone are on at all times. All right. Yes, sir. Step over here for me, sir.
I've already been patted down and been...
No, you're fine. I'm Officer Sanders, sir. Just for training purposes, I'm going to let my officer let you patch you down here a second before we let you have a seat. All right. I'll be honest with you. You want to put him in that position. I'll see him walk over here for me, sir.
So they're recording from over here on the side while we're doing it. Him and the other guy in his car. And then they decided to walk over right in the middle of the cars. And they're like, "Don't come over here. You're impeding in our operation. Move away." I'm not impeding. And then this guy said he got a right to be here. So.
Mr. Shakur were charged with obstructing governmental operations. However, on September 27, 2016, the day after the arrest, Little Rock Chief of Police Kenton Buckner sent Representative Walker an apology letter indicating that he should not have been arrested. Chief Buckner also stated that he had opened an internal affairs investigation into the incident and that the charges against Representative Walker would be dismissed as soon as possible. That same day, Representative Walker sent a letter to Chief Buckner stating that, quote, "I cannot in good conscience accept your apology for the unlawful actions of the arresting officers yesterday." Representative Walker also pointed out that charges against Mr. Shakur had not been dropped and asserted that he would not accept this disparate treatment. On September 29, 2016, prosecutors dropped the charges against both Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur. Sadly, Representative Walker passed away on October 29, 2019, at the age of 82. Overall, the Little Rock officers get AC- because although it is possible that a court would conclude that they had probable cause to arrest Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur, and more likely that a court would conclude that they were entitled to qualified immunity for their actions, they demonstrated clear hostility towards Representative Walker for simply attempting to exercise his rights, and overreacted to his and Mr. Shakur's attempts to peaceably film from a closer vantage point. In my opinion, it is a significant red flag when officers become personally offended by citizens who attempt to hold them accountable for their actions by filming them in the performance of their duties, as officers who have nothing to hide should not be bothered by someone recording them doing their jobs correctly. Even if a court would uphold these officers' actions, the arrests were unnecessary and a poor exercise of officer discretion and seem to be at least partially motivated by the officer's personal feelings towards Representative Walker. Representative Walker gets an A- because although it is possible that a court would find he violated the law given the strong protection given to the right to film in the state of Arkansas by the legislation he championed, it was certainly reasonable for him to believe that he was permitted to non-disruptively film from the public sidewalk on the same side of the street as the traffic stop, and he peaceably submitted to his arrest and challenged its lawfulness afterwards. I admire Representative Walker and Mr. Shakur for their willingness to be arrested for their exercises of their First Amendment rights, and it is remarkable to see the impact Representative Walker has had on the right to film, and reserve traffic stops both through the legislation he co-sponsored and the case law established through his lawsuit against the city of Pine Bluff. It is unfortunate that Representative Walker is no longer with us, but his legacy will live on through the legal reforms he fought for. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe our channel for next video.